Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu Onaranet, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello everyone, Coffee O'Clock. I have a guest from Greece today, Ioanna Margaroni. Ioanna Margaroni. Ioanna, welcome. Let's do the cheers first.
Hi, yes. Oh, my invisible mag, because I have the background, you cannot see it. Let me.
Yes. But it says joy in it. We see. There we go. Now we see. Yes, cheers. Ioanna is a female leadership mentor and quantum transformation strategist. Today, we are going to talk about how inner work positively affects all areas of life and is the catalyst to success. Welcome, Ioanna. How are you?
Hello, Burcu. I'm so happy to be here. I'm very well. Thank you. Not without challenges, but feeling very creative, and along come the challenges. It's so great to be here with you, and can't wait for the magic that we will be co-creating together in these 20 minutes.
I love that. Yes, we are going to create a magic, and we already started because you're here, I'm here. I'm excited for the topic we are going to dive in. I introduced you a little bit, but you are more than that. I know, but my audience don't. So, can you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Oh, I can share a little bit of my story. So, I studied finance to please my parents, and it was something that I didn't agree with. It didn't agree with me. I was good with numbers. I was not too bad with numbers, but it didn't bring excitement to me. And I felt that every day in my job, I was dying, really. I was lifeless. I was without soul. And this along the way brought several health issues, chronic back pain, and several other things, while at the same time there was an inner nudge, a calling to try yoga. I would never try yoga because I didn't know anyone, because I didn't exercise. I was just the diligent student that played the piano. And a friend of mine became a teacher, a yoga instructor. So this was the reason that I felt safe. And I went to her class, and then I was hooked because I felt that there was something in there for me. I didn't know exactly what that was, but it was like me trying to rediscover myself, that inner world, that inner wisdom that I had forgotten about while studying finance and doing everything that I should be doing, like a good student, a good daughter. So magic unfolded, again, not without challenges, not without pain, but gradually I started finding myself. And it took me years. I didn't just quit my job instantly. It took decades, and actually I didn't even quit the job. They fired me because they were downsizing. And I got the compliment that I was the happiest employee to leave the company. And then one thing led to the other. So I've done many modalities. I've studied yoga as well, group exercise leader, Akashic record reading, soul realignment modality, coaching, public speaking, a lot of things really. And I'm constantly in awe for the greatness that a human being is. It's a lot. We are a lot. We are beyond what we can imagine, and all we need to do is just, walk the path.
Exactly. And I just love how you are putting the words together and your presence. I can sit here and listen to you for hours. That's how your presence affects me. I am sure it is going to be the same with my audience. If you feel this way, please comment below. If you're watching it on YouTube, I want to know if you feel the same presence as I do. So I appreciate what you do and who you are as a person, and I'm so happy to have you in my life as a friend. So you touched a little bit your story, and I was a very happy employee when I quit my job as well, so I am with you on that, and thank you for sharing it in a vulnerable way. It's not easy to share like you were fired, because not many people own it, but you're owning it because that's who you are, who you truly are, what you are meant to do in this world. So tell us a little bit more. How was the transition from that side of you to who you are for the past, I don't know how many years you have been doing what you're doing, but how was that transition and how was your inner voice?
Oh, my inner voice was so hesitant, really. Uh, I had this inner programming, and I'm sure that all of us have it, because by the age of 7, we develop certain ways of thinking and certain patterns of behaving. So my patterns, my programming was, you're not good enough, it's difficult, it's unimaginable, you cannot do it. There was that voice that constantly sabotaged me or kept me safe, because that's the brain, right? It wants to keep us safe, because I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I didn't know anything about coaching. I didn't know anything about leading other people, but I was missing the point there. Of course, it took a lot of time for me to realize that I was missing the point. And the point was that it's inner mastery, it's self leadership first. And if we want to have numbers in it, since I used to do finance and accounting, 80% it's inner work and 20% is aligned action or strategy. Hence the strategist in my title. Because if we cannot lead ourselves, how can we lead others or become an example for others in the company, or a mother figure or the father figure, right? We're leading someone, our children, and the whole family. So how can I do it if I cannot lead my own self, my own thoughts, observe them, process them, embrace them first, and then if they are limiting thoughts, letting them go and actually reprogramming them. And this is what I'm fascinated with the past few years, about reprogramming those thoughts, because it's the subconscious mind that runs the show. Anything that we have in the subconscious mind, this is what leads us. And we need to be adept, open, receptive, observing, to catch those thoughts, analyze them, release them, reprogram them, and then magic is created.
Absolutely. And as I said, I love hearing all these things from you because it's so true. And I personally do that reprogramming in my personal and professional life. So I know what it takes to do it. It's not easy to reprogram something, sometimes delete something, update something, like the apps and computer. It's the same with the mind. But so for so many people, inner work or sharing these things sound like still like a woo woo, or it's a witch word, or it's not really working. Like, you don't understand my life, you don't know how it works in this field. Like, these are the words, sentences I've heard from people for the past decades. People still don't see the value of it. People don't understand that the importance of putting yourself first in your to-do list is a must, because when you got sick, what happens? You're not doing anything. Sometimes you get sick that you can't even write a word to send as a text message to the person. Like, that's how important to put yourself first. How do you create this awareness with people? Let's dive in, like how inner work positively affects our life, and it can affect negatively if we don't do the work. So let's talk about it a little bit.
We are infinite beings living in a finite world and trying to find again our greatness and create massive impact or impact of some sort. And we are holistic beings, we're whole beings, mind, body, energy. This is no joke, this is not woo. Mind, body, energy. We're all those things. Now, when it comes to energy, the woo aspect of energy would be the spiritual, the universe, attracting things by our thoughts. Yes, that can be the woo explanation, but come to think of it, and it's science based, that we are made from the same particles as the universe, everything around us. It's just the difference of the frequency, right? The vibration is what changes and creates me, you, the forms that we see, the air, and everything. So if we're made of such particles, energy is involved, definitely. So whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we put in our bodies has to do with that transmutation of energy. And transmutation is our natural state. Energy is always moving. This is what science says. And it's always changing. Energy can never be lost. It's changing form. So we can definitely transform our thoughts because they are a form of energy. They have certain frequencies and we can transform them, override them, embrace them, of course, because they are part of us, but transform them. And once we dive into that aspect of transmutation and change, we know that we are meant to change things. We are meant to change ourselves. And an ancient philosopher said that everything flows. Ancient Greek philosopher. I need to honor my roots, my Greek roots. Everything flows, always. So when we resist change, that's the problem. When I cannot release, for instance, the books that I was reading when I was 15 years old, this means that I have something, a thought, that is holding me back to that age, to that way of thinking. Not that it is bad, but it's not serving me anymore. So if I release the books, which is matter, if I release the thoughts and the story, and then I'm changing the energy, then I can also shift my perspective, my thoughts, create new thoughts, a new ID, a new identity for me, new thoughts. How would that person move? How would that person feel? How would that person dress?
What was I'm sure you've done a lot of work on yourself as well as your clients and people around you. What would you comfortable sharing? Like, what was the biggest change that happened to Ioanna with the inner work you do?
A lot of changes. Definitely. And anything I learn, any modality, yes, let's have a bowl with, pick one. Any modality that I do, I try it on me. And I'm a little bit hardcore, I try it, I overdo it, and I pay the price sometimes. But I used to be very stressful. I mean, Yeah, as a personality, I tend to be stressed easily or worry a lot. Now, that's part of me as well. And it's also, on top of that, the programming. You know, you
Mhm.
can't do it, it's dangerous outside, it's difficult. So, with all this type of work, what I did is that I'm no longer reacting and being carried away by the stressful thoughts or the what others say to me. Instead, I am responsive. I have this, it's like extending the time, the length of time. So it's not as if I have a millisecond and I need to say something or do something. It's as if this time has expanded, and so I can take a breath, I can observe. I can observe what is happening outside. I can observe what is happening inside and in my mind. And then from that point, I can respond. I can be my kind self. I can be my accepting self. I can be my logical self as well, but not the one that is carried away by the emotion, because emotions have a certain vibration. And if I'm in anger, if I am in grief, it's not going to work. It's not going to be for the highest good of all those who are involved in the situation. So the biggest change was definitely me not being stressed so easily. And I tell you, sometimes I I admire myself so much because I'm not reacting anymore, and I'm thinking, oh, my old self would not be as calm as I am now. Congratulations, good work. Which means that all of those things worked, and the time invested, the money invested, the thoughts, everything that I invested actually was fruitful and brought a shift.
I bet, and I am with you in that. All the time, energy, and money you spent on something, especially inner work, pays off along along the time. And I also believe that we need to do a constant work on so many things, because if our audience can imagine, you have been programmed for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and now you're here. Okay, let's change this. Okay, you can change, you can reprogram, but think about, like, it might come back again to trigger you. So what to do, like how to avoid that. So Ioanna, how do you avoid being stressful again? Like, let's go with that same example. Like, what do you do on a maybe daily basis to avoid going back to your old pattern, and what would you suggest to our audience to do?
First of all, don't panic and don't get angry, because it's always going to come back. Not 100% all the times, but most of the times it's gonna come back in one way or the other, maybe a different form, maybe to a lesser extent, but it's still there until we are able to release it completely. So what I do is that I have certain practices to help me ground throughout the day. My best practice that I'm in love with this past year is quantum breath and quantum flow, respectively. So this practice is movement. Quantum flow is movement, and quantum breath is breath, obviously. So it's about recalibrating the nervous system very, very purposefully, with the breath, with intention, with the words, with the thoughts, so that the nervous system releases everything, the past stories, the anxiousness, the stress, the limiting thoughts and the limiting beliefs, so that we can get back into our center. That's the electromagnetic field again. That's the energy. We're coming back to that energy of, I'm already in peace. I'm already successful. I am. And by the way, those two words, I am, are the most powerful words ever. Whatever you put after those two words, create your reality. So I will invite the viewers to consider what they're saying after the words I am. I am bliss. I am peace. I am abundance. For me, it's like permeating my whole body, and it gets registered to every single cell of your being. And of course, I give myself space and kindness for the mistakes that I make, for the failures, or rather failures, I consider them as lessons. Always I have the mentality, what can I learn from this? There's always something. At least I learn that I shouldn't do that again. The simplest scenario is, oh, okay, I did it once, it didn't work, or it didn't have the expected results. So let me not repeat it. And for the ladies, what I have to share is to tune into your cycle. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a professional, if you are a woman in your daily life, connect with your cycle. There are 4 different phases in the cycle with different energies, different levels of energies, different skills at that time. So we have forgotten that wisdom. And I invite the women to reclaim that wisdom and that power, because it will help you optimize your performance, optimize your being. You know when to rest, you know when to pitch, you know when to tidy your apartment with the least amount of energy, but with the greatest potential. The wisdom that shouldn't be forgotten.
So true. And thank you for touching for women, especially women, need to pay attention to their timing of doing things. So how we can know, like as a woman, I want to ask, like, how we can know what's best to do certain things. You mentioned when to pitch, when to tidy the house. Like, how can we decide?
Well, to the very least, I'm sure that you can find sources in the internet, and as well as on my website. I'm going to do some wonderful things for the women. But just in a nutshell, when women are ovulating, when they are more fertile, this means that it's the best time to pitch or have an interview or a date. You are magnetic. This is the time that you are more magnetic and you will get more yeses. When we are in our moon time, and by moon time I mean the bleeding phase, the period, this is a time that you need to go inside. Your whole body is saying rest, go to a quiet place, maybe even a little bit darker, not so many lights. It's about internalizing, getting in touch with your inner wisdom. And this is when you can download ideas, you can channel intuition. But it's a time for rest. This is what the body says at that moment. Doesn't have much energy, and yet we're going against it because we're trying to fit in a world that does not accept a cyclical way of being. Now, men have cycles too, but they are daily. So their energy has fluctuations during the 24-hour cycle. Every day they can appear and be the same and perform in the same way, but a woman does not work like that. And this is where the actual clash starts, and there is that inner conflict and exhaustion and burnout for the women, because we are trying to do something that we can't. We're not made like men.
Yes.
So
And
it's
I'm actually
important.
glad. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I was saying that it's very important to know about our bodies and honor our bodies. We were taught to suffer, to withstand, and these are admirable qualities to a certain extent. You know, we have the skills when we need them
Hmm.
to have the power to go against the grain, but not always, not doing that always and functioning from that place because it's counterintuitive. And most ailments and chronic issues, chronic health issues, especially for women, appear because of that, because women are going against their female nature.
Well, that is very eye-opening to me. Now I know exactly when to do certain things. And even if we don't follow, don't aware of the cycle, our body sends us signs. But most of the time, what we do, we don't listen. I talk on behalf of myself. I tend to not listen and just push myself to do certain things. And I think that is something to do with maybe having more masculine energy, because you mentioned men has the same cycle every day and they are able to provide the energy most of the time, and that's what I expect from my body to do, but it doesn't, of course. So it's good to know, and I have been more mindful on that, more mindful to take time to rest. But still, I'm learning. Now I'm more mindful because of what you shared. So thank you. Hopefully, our female listeners and watchers will take advantage of it and use it on their favor. Iona, how you work with people? Like, how do you take clients? You are in Greece. Do you do like online, or do you only do in person, one-on-one group? Share a little bit more your work, please.
Yes, I do mostly, I work mostly online, so with people from all around the world, one-on-one and group sessions. Actually, the group things are more like immersions, and I'm considering about having a mastermind for women to share this wisdom, like the one I was talking about the female leadership and a lot of ideas are coming. 2025 is going to be a wonderful year.
Can't wait.
um Now I'm downloading. Oh my god.
Celebrating.
Oh yes, I love celebrations. So I'm also hosting some free quantum breath sessions occasionally. So
Mhm.
your viewers and watchers can click on the links provided and they can sign up for the next session that is going to be soon. I do them two times per month or maybe four times per month, and then working with immersions because these are even more powerful to dive into. Whatever we do intensively and consistently, it has effects multiplied and results. So
Nice.
magic is afoot. This is all I have to say.
Yes, I love it. And I can't wait to put the links down the show. And do you have a date for the sooner one or not yet?
Depends on when this is going to air because I'm having one this Thursday.
That's true. Well, this Thursday it cannot be. But that
Yeah.
will they will see on your website when
Yes.
it will happen. You said like two times or four times a month, so I'm sure they will catch one of those. And we look forward to seeing in 2025 all the magic you are going to create. And I always ask my guests before end of the show to share one or two sentences to the audience? What would you say to leave us?
Wow. That you are magic inside, outside, and you can create anything that you have on your mind. You just need aligned action. That's it. You are magic. Quantum magic.
I have goosebumps. You can't see my skin. I just feel it. I got chills because it's so true. And this is a reminder, like every day, maybe every hour or every 10 minutes, for us to remember we are magic, because we tend to forget this. So thank you for reminding me and our audience that we are magic and we can create anything and everything we put in our mind. So thank you. And what would you, how people can find you?
Before that, I want to say that you have created some magic. You know magic because you've taken some decisions that changed the trajectory of your life. So you are one of those people that know magic.
I think I do.
So people can find me on my website www.ioannamargaroni.com, and I will also be sharing a link with you with my favorite mantras and practices. It's a short guide, short, sweet, but very powerful. Practices to shift your frequency, your vibration, and leave away the limiting thoughts or the stress of the day, so that you can work from a place of bliss and calmness and utter confidence.
Nice. I look forward to it. And thank you for being here today. I enjoyed a lot.
Thank you, Burcu, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening.
Everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.